Okay, so I'm recording now. Okay, hi everyone. My name is Ronnie. My company is Radiant Trace Atelier. And today I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to show, we just had a little bit of a pre-chat waiting to get all the technical difficulties out of the way. Now, the thing that I intend on doing today is painting the cover of this journal. This is the Ranger's Creative Journal. You know, the Diane Reevely one, Dilutions, and the one with the big brown envelope inside. I'm sure lots of people, I'm sure Marion, you might have one. I know Maureen has one. Anyway, so I'm going to be taking this with me to the markets this summer as displaying some of my techniques, some of the types of things that I do, in order to give people an idea of what art journaling is, in order to promote any workshops that I'm doing. So I didn't want to take it with just the plain craft cover. I still haven't figured out how I'm going to deal with this inside area yet. But so what I've done is I've done some collaging, initial collaging with just textbook paper, some old vintage music sheets, put down some like washi tape, tissue tape, and then put a thin coat of gesso, a little bit of stamping, some little paper that I already had stamped, and then a light coat of gesso so you can still see, like watered down gesso. I water it down quite a bit, so it sort of pushes the paper into the background, but it's still visible, but it's whitewashed. So I'll get to that in a second. I still have my tea sitting out on the counter with the tea bag in it stewing. I'll run to do that in a minute. Oh. You might hear the cat in the background because he's old and cranky. So, oh gee. Okay, so it's really beautiful here. So I'm either going to it's very sunny and warm, so I'm either going to open the window a little bit further. Sorry about the camera jiggling like that. I have it connected to an overhead lamp. So I think I'm taking off my hoodie now. Oh. Alright, so keeping in mind that I'm getting ready for doing the markets this summer. I have one on May 4th, which is the weekend before Mother's Day, and it's an indoor one. So what I wanted to do was do some make and takes. Like, not free. It will be like purchase. And this way, people get a little mini example of what I'm like as an instructor. And they get to play with some stuff. And I'm hoping that will whet people's appetite for, you know, diving in a little bit further to mixed media. Well, one of the things that I decided to do was little cards. And being Mother Day weekend, Mother Day card says Happy Mother's Day. I know it's really blurry. I'm sorry about that. A new webcam will be coming after I purchase my new laptop, which probably won't be for about another 4 weeks. But in the meantime, because I want to get the laptop first to see what I can get that's going to be compatible with it. I want to stop all this nonsense where I'm spending money, things aren't working out for me, and then I can't take them back. So what the cards are is I've done all the prep work for them. Like, so when people sit down to make a card, all they have to do is take the bits and pieces, because the cards are already cut and folded, the pieces are already made. I'll show you some blank pieces. I don't know if you can see on camera, but with paper on it. These are embossed. Now, I know, Marion, you're familiar with that. Maureen, you might not be familiar with embossing folders. It's where you put the cardstock into a little plastic envelope that has deep recessed impression in it. You run it through your Big Shot, and then your paper's embossed. So what they'll be doing is taking this embossed piece of black matte paper and using Inca Gold, which is like Rub and Buff. It's a paste, And I use my fingers. You can also dip a brush in water and use this as watercolor paint, and it's very shimmery then. You can paint with this with water and a brush. So then it's like rubbing this Inca Gold onto this, and then you get this nice color. And this here is die cut flowers, also with the Tim Holtz, and there's 3 of them, and then I emboss them as well, so that when you rub the Inca Gold on, you can show it will make the high points, highlight the high points, and then the dark paper, which is black, will be recessed. And so what I've done is cut out a whole pile of different pattern paper, and then I've got like several colors of Inca Gold, so they can coordinate their black mat and their flowers to go with whatever type of paper they picked. So this is more like a gold neutral color, and then the other one is pinky purple. And then I pre-cut a whole pile of, or die cut a whole pile of these sentiments already in different shapes. And then, because when I buy bulk buttons from secondhand stores, I've gotten some really cool buttons that way, but they come in massive bags, like huge bags, and there's always tons of white. Well, I don't use white buttons or cream buttons, so I thought this would be a really nice way to pull that color from the white card, and then all together. So that's one of the make and takes that this summer is going to be happening. And I'm not only going to just do it at the Mother's Day one, but I also do the market at Cultus Lake every Saturday in the summer. And so, and then also they put a little die cut on the back. And so at the Cultus Lake market, I won't need to take my heat gun because it will be so warm that everything will dry really quickly. So I'm going to be doing some make and takes there as well, because some of the young girls are really interested in that kind of stuff. It's an activity to do. And then for that one, I'll obviously have different sentiments because Mother's Day will be long gone. So let's just put all this back out of the way. So there's that. Oh yeah, here's an example of it. I used Inca Gold on this one, and it's in the package. I'm not going to take it out of the package, but it's different kinds of Inca Gold, and this is an example of some of the types of cards that I've been making. Because I also sell quite my cards sell really well at the markets. So, and then for the second make and take, because there'll be obviously choices, I'm calling these bookmarks. They're on shipping tags. Which I buy like this. Like there's quite a few going, but I don't know, in 100 I think. Size 5. So yeah, size 5. There's 100 of them. So $5 for like 100. I mean, pretty good price. And then they will stamp a butterfly onto a small square of pattern paper, which I have a ton of these from when I used to do classes to teach girls how to make paper flowers, little girls how to make paper flowers. So there's a whole ton of, I have just, this isn't even all, nowhere near all that I have. I have a whole stack. And then that's what that is. That's what's on there. The butterfly has been stamped onto pattern paper. And then the shipping tag is the spray inks. You know, my favorite, the tumble dye spray inks through stencils. And through the punchinella, like black ink, ink the edges, a little bit of doodling around the edges, can't really see so well. And then on the back, a stamp. I'm going to take 4 different stamps. I don't want a whole pile of stamps because it's a little overwhelming when people have to choose from that kind of stuff. It says, love, dream, just be yourself, and create your own journey. So these will be the 4 stamps, and then, of course, then they put fun fiber through, because I've got like a whole huge drawer full of this fun fiber. So those will be the 2 make and takes that I'm going to be doing on May 4th, and then I'll continue with other ideas through the summer at the other markets that I do. And where'd the bag go? Let's find the bag later. Losing things. So, Maureen, you're taking here's dream social chat. You're taking or you took Kat's Fabulous Faces. So this is there's no face attached to this, because like I always do, I just grabbed an index card. I have to stop doing that. And I just started trying to, I don't know if you can see, but trying to do the lips, because lips are I'm so horrible. Lips, all my lips on all my portraits look like they were stuck on with a sticker, because I just don't get them right. So I thought we're getting better here. I thought this looked pretty good. And then I just kept adding flesh colored paint, so it doesn't even look like a face anymore. But I probably will never turn that into a face. So, and here's something too. I know that Marion, you were into classics, and you'd mentioned today, or Barb, that you were enjoying, that you like that canvas, the intuitive painting canvas that I posted there. Anyways, yeah, this is some more fiddling around. This is just the base layer. There's going to be, I was getting a little, I want to get more complicated, because I do some bigger canvases, and some of the canvas classes that I go in home and teach. The smaller the substrate that you use, a little bit more limited you are to the kinds of areas that you can sort of focus in on to highlight and change into shapes and paint drippage. And so but for the markets, I have to create smaller things in order to keep the price down, and also to my display space is somewhat limited. So that's something that I'm trying to get as much complexity into a smaller area as I do, the complexity that I get in the larger paintings that I do. But it's a process. I'm trying to work smaller so that when you do sort of focus in on areas that are speaking to you, or that you want to alter and then blend out with darker colors to change. So that's what I'm working on. Trying to figure out a way to do that on a smaller scale. So, and then here's another thing that I do at the markets. I talked about this before, but I just finished doing 52 of them, so my God. Anyways, so this is how they start. This is a laminated bookmark. I go in and get them laminated, then I cut them apart, and then I punch holes. So they tend to start on a journal page, like a background. Something about a background will appeal to me. And so I'll go, oh, that has to be a bookmark. So I'll do a print of it. In this case, I did a couple. And then they end up in the next phase, which is, you know, printed. And then I'll fold the print in half, and then gel media down the center, and they get pressed under a book for 24 hours, like a whole stack of them. And then I'll ink the edges and do some stamping on them, either images or just words. And then I take them in and laminate them, and when I get them back, I punch holes in the corner, put a jump ring, and then put some fun fiber on them. So that's where they come from. And I have like 52 of them. I don't think I'll be making them again for a while, hopefully, because it's tedious and time consuming. So that's usually how it starts. So anyways, I'm not normally a pink person, but I'm really, really, really like pink and brown together. Pinks and any shades of brown. Like even yellow ochre, which is not really a brown, it's kind of a mustard yellow, but to me it seems in the brown neutral tones. So this is a color palette that I want to paint the creative journal in. Which is this color palette. So I think that's what I'm going to try to do. I say try because things always work out the way you want them to. So I'll bring the book up here. Move this other stuff out of the way. Now see, this is right in the middle of the book. And when I gestured it, I pulled it out and held it up until it dried. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know what this elastic is from. Hate that. Oh well. Sorry, I had to get the cat off. So I thought maybe the first thing I'd try to do is I want to try and get some brown splatters on here, because I noticed on that art journaling page I have some sort of brown splattage. So let's see if we can kind of recreate that idea. And as always, I spray into, oh, that's okay, spray into a little bucket to prime it. So I'm going to just see what happens. I'm just going to go a little ways down, maybe all the way down. Oops, that's a bit bright. It seems, you know, this tumble dye comes out and it seems really dark, but you know, once you blot it up, it's not. Try not to get it on my laptop, which I've done before. I'm just going to keep doing that. Got some other splattage, try and go in the other direction. Maybe splat that strap a bit. And then I have my old t-shirt. I'm just going to, this might end up taking it away quite a bit, but at least we'll get some color down. Just blot, blot, blot. Oh, that's great. So that's what I didn't want, is that line across there. That's okay. So now we just have a little bit of color there. Kind of gives you that tea-stained look. Right where that line is. It's okay. The screen is so small for me. I don't know, and I tried pulling back a bit, but then it changes the focus on here. Like if I pull back a bit, then you end up just seeing the table. I don't know if that helps. Does that help? There. I guess that's a bit better. I got my paint cans here in the way. So I'm going to also use the same stencils that I did. This is from Crafter's Workshop. It's looks like a bunch of roses. They got used quite a bit in the art journaling workshop. So, and then this one, which is uneven type, is, I think this is a water theme one. It's like bubbles. So we'll see. And I'm using the Mantegna Red Violet. Mantegna Red Violet, and I'm going to thin it. So I've got my small bottle of golden open thinner. I'm going to thin this down after I clean the goop. Now, this is kind of close to magenta, but it's got like a softer color to me. I actually like this better than I like magenta. I'm going to use a palette knife. Somewhere there's a palette knife to mix. Here's my plastic plate palette just to mix it up, to get it thinner. And you can also, even though you use the thinner, you can also add water to that if it doesn't get as thin as you like it. And the reason why I'm thinning this down is because it is the heavy body paint, and I don't really want a whole lot of texture on the cover because it's got to slide in and out of my, on my bookcase. And then I'm just going to clean my palette off. I'm just going to use my sponge because that's the sponge I'm going to use through the stencil. And I do have some paper towel right close by. So what I do is I just go into the paint and then blot off the excess. Because I find that if you put too much paint on when you're working with a stencil, it gets underneath the stencil easier. So I'm just going to start, see what happens. Let's see where this goes. And now that I put the thinner in, it's obviously going to take longer to dry than normal. But I could turn my heat gun on it if I want. So I'm just going to try to be relatively random, or, oops. Let's see, let's move something. Not leave any heavy or, definite lines. Just keep. I mean, a lot of my work has to do with stencils because just quite like that look. And I do, with intuitive painting mostly, most of the time when I'm just doing it for my own personal therapeutic reasons, I just do all kinds of shapes and stuff. But in the classes that I've done at in-home parties, we use the stencils. And people have the option of also, see how this looks really square? How I've ended up squaring that off? Move things along here. Oh, where'd I go? Okay, I lost me. That's just lovely. There I am. There. So it shows a definite line of where the stencil was. I'm going to fix that up a bit with the other stencil, which is right here. In a case like that, you can always take another stencil that has a less definite line and kind of go up from there. So kind of take off that definite edge that you left. Because let's face it, that's starting to take away that squared edge. And then I'll do it over here with some bigger ones, bigger bubbles. Quite like this stencil, the bubble water stencil. I'm going to use it in a mermaid theme. I always keep saying I'm going to work on this mermaid, and I just haven't started it yet. See, that helps. Gives some definition or changes the hard edge. So I think I'm going to put some more of this up here. I'm going to try and treat this as if it's coordinating, but it's two separate, like not one big piece. Or I could, I don't know. See if we can get it on the spine. See how that works. And you don't have to commit to the whole image, the whole pattern on the stencil. You can kind of be random about it. Oh, I got a rosebud on there. I'm calling it a rose. I don't know if this is what it's called, but it looks to me like roses, abstract roses. That's what it looks like. And I'm kind of twisting my sponge, and because with the thinner in there, what that's doing when I twist my sponge when I lay it down is it makes the paint more translucent, because I'm just turn it to the side. because I'm sort of smushing the paint away. It's not going on as thick when I kind of twist the sponge. Well, that's interesting. I need one great big piece of paper so I don't have to deal with this pushing the paper back and forth. So up in the corner here, didn't even plan it. And I just hope it'll dry because with that thinner in it. Let's kind of do that. And then maybe a little bit down here. And then we'll kind of frame it with the bubbles. Use the bubble stencil. That's kind of cool. And I use stencils so much because, you know, I absolutely love that feeling when you pull it up. Like you're laying it down and you think to yourself, oh, I can kind of guess what it's going to look like. But it isn't until you actually pull it up that you see how it's changed your image. And I do want to get into cutting my own stencils. You know, drawing my own designs, simplistic, and then cutting them myself. And then that way it's true, the experience then will be genuinely all my own creation, because these are other designers. I'm just working around to try and take away anything that looks like a hard edge to me. What's called echoes? Am I echoing? Maureen, am I echoing? Oops. Surprisingly pink for me, you know. I find it really amazing that I'm actually putting pink on the outside of something that I'm going to see on a regular basis, because I am not a pink person. And I'm not a red person, and I'm not a yellow person. But oddly enough, I've been liking red and yellow and pink. I don't know why. I think it's just strange. And I say that green is my favorite color, but I notice when I'm making things, like especially if I'm making a lot of things, like bulk, I'll notice afterwards, I'll look back and go, wow, there's an awful lot of blue. I mean, I love blue, but I didn't think it was like my favorite color. But there'll end up being an awful lot of blue in the things that I make. Well, blue is a very calming color, so maybe that's why. Maybe I'm always looking for the calm. Like calming and soothing. So, I don't know if I left room to go any further. There's still a little hard edge there. It's kind of cool, a random little circle here and there. Alright. So now I'm going to wash my hands. Maybe I'll do this one. I have the yellow oxide. I don't know if I'm going to use the yellow oxide or yellow ochre. Let me see, ochre. Oh my gosh. Just like I have to find it now. What's this here? Oh, that's the burnt umber. Yellow ochre. Naples yellow. I thought I had yellow ochre in this brand. Middle yellow. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here it is. So, looks pretty darn close, doesn't it? I don't know which to use. Oops, we don't want that opening up. That would be not a good thing. Oh! This one here is called Echoes. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, but it looks like roses, doesn't it? Thank you. So I'm going to put some yellow ochre in there. Put some thinner again. Once again, mix it with the paint palette, in the paint palette with the paint knife. And that needs more thinner. Wow. This one might even need some water. This one feels really crunchy. This one feels really thick. Okay. So I'm not really sure what I want to do with this. I've got this really small hole, tiny little random holes like that. So I'm going to, we'll see if I like this. I noticed there was a, nah, I don't like that. Some of these stencils are funny. Do not like that at all. So I might just find a way to get yellow ochre on here without that. Just a sponge back over that to try and kick back the yellow. Maybe I'll use the ink. Maybe I'll use a little bit of the yellow oxide ink. And just take a round brush, kind of randomly put in some yellow here and there. You can't see me, I'm just putting a little bit here and there and then kind of rubbing my fingers across it. And I'm using the Liquitex inks in the yellow oxide. And the pink is pretty much dry. So I'm just going to do some random, just putting the paint down but then rubbing it with my fingers, which is probably not a good thing to do for health reasons, but I will wash my hands ASAP. I'm going to try and put some more water in this yellow ochre paint. I've got some neighbors across the street. I've got the window open, and some neighbors across the street are some young people, very young people, partying. Now, in a perfect world, I would have thought about this and put my lightest color down first. That's what I always tell people, is put your lightest color down first, and they go from light to dark. So if I had been thinking ahead of time and known that I was going to add yellow, I would have put the yellow down first, and then did the pink stenciling over top, and just put a little light wash of the yellow underneath. But that's not how it worked. Maybe some yellow in here a little bit. Because I'm going to be using burnt umber as the darker neutral. When I get to that point, you know, there's some texture here. I should take advantage of those little ridges. There we go. Alright, seems like enough yellow. Can you even see all that yellow? Let's put some more here. See, I've been pretty much ignoring this drop. Trying to pretend that it doesn't even exist. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out in the end. Okay. So I better wash my hands. I'm using a wet one. I guess that's kind of cheating. I just wanted to say that that thinner that I've been using, I really love that. I'm a very tactile person, so it isn't just about how things look visually to me, it's also how they feel. And this heavy body paint does not feel this way when I use it just by itself, or even when I just water it down with water. There's a really nice, smooth, professional kind of feeling to it now. Let me see, which one did I do? And like the same with this. I mean, it looks like all primary, like kindergarten school painting, but it feels like really amazing. I'm trying to think of what else I just did recently. That there's something else. I'll show you that in a sec while I'm letting that yellow dry. That's what it is on these. Okay, so Maureen, you'll recognize this format. One of the things that I'm also selling in the summertime are journals, blank journals. And this is, I don't know if you can see the details. Oh, this is terrible. Like, it just feels amazing. There's a little polymer clay heart. That's three-dimensional. I use the thinner, and it just feels amazing. And I also use matte medium to use as a protector to seal it in so that it can be used. So this one will be like an art journal, a blank journal with, it's got cardstock, sketching paper, watercolor paper, yada, yada, yada. In the front pocket, it's got a little pocket I put a pocket on and a little tag in there. So front and back, oops, oh great. And then it's got a little charm dangle and the fun fiber. Like fun fiber, a really cool little lobster claw, and then a charm, a chain and a charm. So I will be selling these this summer too. Actually, this is actually a custom request. People custom requested that I sell blank journals. So that one's the art type one, and this is for actual journaling. It's got lined paper, and same idea. This one's got a different charm. These are like the charms that we had in the class, the art journaling workshop. But the other one, this one here is got a butterfly and a black bead on it. So I've got a whole ton of these little butterflies, and a whole ton of beads. So obviously I'll be making predominantly these type. But this just feels amazing. I just love the feeling of it. And I did the same thing, protected it. So this is with lined paper. The lined books, the lined one has more. Let me see, does it have more in it? Yeah, the lined one, it's got like 12 pieces of lined and then 2 pieces of blank sketching paper and then 12, like, you know, a staggering pattern like that. And then I put the pocket in the back. These ones have more pages. And I have to learn not to do that. And then, you know, fun fiber and then the rings. So these are also something that I've added to the things that I'm going to be doing. Purple and pink don't show up very well on a webcam. On any camera. Because this is a really beautiful color. It does not look true to the color. Same with this. This is actually green and a dark turquoise and black and some purple. Okay, so this is another one of my favorite stencils. It's chicken wire. It's chicken wire reversed, which means that the ink will go through the small lines. The other one, I have the other one, and it's really, it doesn't work for what I want it for. But it's hard to know when you order online, right? It's hard to know if it's going to meet your needs. So I'm putting my sponges in water, the ones that I've already used. And then I'm going to grab a new sponge and my burnt umber. Where are you, burnt umber? I went and bought sepia. You know, you'd think it's a red-brown. It is so not. It looks like it's a red-brown, but when you, I do not like that color. When you paint it, it's like a non-color. It's kind of like a black-gray. I keep thinking it should be red-brown, and it isn't. Or at least it wasn't in that brand. So I'm going to put some burnt umber out here. Oh, gross. You guys don't want to see that. And some thinner again. Where'd my thinner bottle go? And then I'll mix that again with the palette knife. Why do I keep going way over to the left like that? You have made 3 Copic Stitch watercolor journals, Maureen? That's amazing. The patience that must take. I mean, I just do a simple kind of a double pamphlet stitch, and I even find that frustrating. But I guess, you know, by your 4th one, you should be an expert. Or is it 3rd one? Your 3rd one, you should be an expert by now, because I found that when I tried that, I get so frustrated because it wasn't really working for me. You should be a pro. And I don't know if you've seen Effie Wild had on her Ning site. She had a really cool stitch. There's all types, all sorts of YouTubes, but you're probably going for the really crazy, super professional looking one. like the super duper stitching. You're using like all the, took me 4 hours the first one. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. That'd probably take me longer. No, I just use the simple double kind of pamphlet stitch. I should pull out the one that I'm working on and show you guys. Here we go. It's pretty dirty from, it's dirty from lugging it around. But it's got like, it's canvas. I used canvas, like already primed canvas. What I did was I went to the dollar store and bought a great big huge canvas and just cut it. And I got enough to make two books. But, well, I didn't even get to that point with this one yet. But it's just going to be 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to do, and then I'm just going to, each signature is going to go in one at a time. There's going to be like 3, how many have I got here? 4, like 4 holes here, and then I'm going to sew each signature in and then around and then in and then like that, and then stack the signatures. I'm not going to do that fancy stitch where you pull, and I didn't have the patience for that kind of thing. But it's definitely an art form, and I can see that some people absolutely love doing it. There's a gal that lives in Yarrow who makes the most amazing leather-bound Copic stitched market or journals. Markets. Oh my god. And I'm going to try and talk her into coming to the Party in the Park market. Like they're leather and then the straps wrap them. They're really cool. They're not cheap, and they shouldn't be cheap, so I don't know if she would want to come to the Party in the Park, but we'll see. Because, by the way, I am once again the Marketplace Coordinator for Party in the Park. So all that stuff's beginning, and that's why I'm trying to make sure that I have everything ready for the markets that I sell at. I'm also going to have my own booth at Party in the Park, and my girlfriend Pat, who will probably watch this recording later, she will be manning my booth for me at Party in the Park. You met her, Maureen, you met her at the art journaling thing. She's going to sell her fancy scarves that she gets in. And I'll be selling my art stuff and some jewelry and promoting any upcoming classes I might have. Ugh, I don't really like what I did here. Don't really like that. But you just keep working and work through it. Maybe put something on the spine and see if it goes onto the spine. Japanese stab album? What the heck is that? I'm going to have to Google that. Japanese stab album. So that's what you want to try next? Oops. You know what I wish I had? Is I have a Permapaint marker in black. I wish I had one in brown. I don't even know if they make them in brown. I do have some paint markers because I was thinking about a title, putting a title on here. Or else I'll use my typewriter because I bought a vintage typewriter, an old-fashioned vintage typewriter. And I might use that to type out a title. And I haven't been thinking about what kind of a title I want to have on here. I should be thinking. or what kind of words. I did it over here too. Can you see how this is turning out? Is this even really visible? It's like there's quite a bit of like negative space in here, and I don't know if I want to keep it that way or maybe add something to it. See, I'm just, the stencil is now stuck to my fingers. I do that. Just sort of stick my fingers in the sticky paint, and then that way I just can pick it up and keep working. Because normally if I'm not talking and I'm not conscious about people watching, this process usually goes pretty darn quick for me. Sometimes I think I should, that's all I should do is just decorate things, because I enjoy that part so much. Stab stitch. Okay. Stab stitch. I'm gonna have to look that up. Let's go down here and get some brown down here. I can't tell if there's places I'm missing or not. So I think maybe I need some pink in here. That's what I think. I don't know how I'm going to get it there. Maybe I'll just sort of scumble it in. Or water it really down. Water. Thin water. And then I use water too. Let's see how this looks like. I'm probably going to use my finger. No freaking out. Just kind of... Maybe I just do something random. Like that. I know I need some pink in here, or I went crazy with the brown. I am at some point going to coat this with the liquid gel medium to protect it from, because as it slides in and out or people touch it a lot, I don't want it like all this stuff peeling up. You know, oh, I like that. The yellow with the pink. I don't know if you can see it because it's not really the same color as it was before. I actually really quite like that. I kind of like the blended out look. I mean, you can still see some of the text on the paper bits underneath. I still haven't figured out what to do with this thing. Yeah, I kind of really like that. Because it's not the harsh pink like this pink. It's a softer pink now that I've watered it down quite a bit. I have to do some of that up here too. Ooh, yeah, I like that. Oh, scumble, okay. Scumbling is, sorry, let me find a good brush. Okay, you know what I've done is I purchased a bunch of MAC, or I got for my son MAC makeup brushes. See how with makeup brushes they're really dense, the bristles, and a lot of them are natural bristles, so they're really good quality, and you clean them the same way you do your regular brushes with paint cleaner, soap with conditioner in it. Or I use Dove bar soap too, or I used to. So see how thick and dense that is, and this is a smaller version of the same thing. So scumbling is, here, let's do it down here. Let's see. Can you see what I'm doing? Scumbling is this. Kind of like what it said. It's like you get a little bit of paint on your brush and you just scumble. Like The same, you know how I'm using my finger? It's like that. And that's when you're doing portraits. This is the blending technique you use. When you've got lots of thinner, make sure you got lots of thinner on your, or extender in some cases. And then you just, this is how you blend in when you're doing your, the opposite, like how Kat showed us how to do it was with all the dark layers, like all the shadows down first. And then work your, in glaze, and then you, each layer is like really thin, and so you can still see the layers underneath. And then your final layers like your flesh tones. Well, when you do it the other way around, where you do, you lay down your light color first, like all your flesh tones first, and then you work in your shadows, scumbling really comes in handy for blending. Because it's, imagine that this is like skin tone, and you want to work in the shadows around the nose. If you have a brush that you scumble in your darker color, and you're sort of blending out, fading it out, you're still using thinner. And that's how you put in your shadows. It's like the opposite of the way that Kat, yeah, circles. Like circles and applying pressure. You're using, and like that. Any which way. Because then it doesn't leave any hard brush edges. And you get a nice blend. Does that make sense to you? I know, I just like the word. Scumbling. And as you notice, I do scumbling with my fingers, which is probably not in a controlled. When you're working on something that it matters to you, how it turns out, no, you don't want to use your fingers too much, because you don't really get, because I got like all 3 fingers in there, you don't really get the same kind of control you do with a brush, like to work out the details. So I'm happy that I decided to put the pink in there like that. Oop, we got something slipping up. Oh, I hate that. Put some more gel medium on. So I wonder if I should add more yellow. I got the pink happening. Do I want more yellow in there too? See, another thing this is doing too, and you can't see the detail. God, I hate this webcam. But there's collage paper underneath here, so that's got some dimension to it. So when I'm taking the paint and putting it on with my finger, you can, it's outlining, the paint is picking up on the edges of the torn paper, so it's kind of highlighting the dimension of that. Like it's just catching the edges of the paper. So in some places the paint is darker on the higher points, or on the edges of where the torn paper is. See, and I didn't totally cover up the white space. Normally I cover up all the white space. I don't know why I do that. I just do. I'm going to put that paint in water, or brush in water. Yikes. So let me see if I still have some yellow here. Let's see if it's still wet. Just one sec. I should probably wash the pink off my fingers. Or, sorry, wipe it off as best as I can, temporarily. And then see how, I'm going to wet this yellow. There's still some yellow here that's usable. And then, let's see where I want it. Let's go up here again. Start up here before I make a full commitment. I just really want the yellow to be kind of faint. And I'm still quite flabbergasted that I'm liking these colors. You think you know yourself, eh? And then things change. I'm really, really, really liking this. So I won't be embarrassed to show off my journal. I used to, you know, I used to get embarrassed about stuff, but not anymore. Who cares, right? Like, really, who cares? I don't know if I just got healthier, my mental health just got healthier, or if I just got too tired of worrying. But whatever caused the difference, in my opinion, I'm happy about it. Ooh, I wonder if we should wipe. No wiping. Like who's going to take the baby wipe? So, yeah, that's kind of pretty. That's really pretty, I think. I think it's pretty. And, you know, for the whole time I've owned this journal and I've been working on it, in the back of my mind's been going, how am I going to cover that cover? How am I going to alter that cover? Because I don't want to take it, you know, just plain craft. That was my thoughts. So now it's kind of pretty. What's that there? Let me cover that up. What is that? Okay, you'll be back in 5. You'll probably already been gone 5 minutes by the time the chat lag. You're probably going to eat dinner, right? Just going to eat dinner. And there's not a lot of West Coast artists, like mixed media artists, that do Ustreams, or that I'm aware of anyways. There might be ones that I'm not even aware of. But I was thinking about on the weekends doing something, because normally you got all these people back east. Well, we got some, we got some Canadian mixed media artists online. But when they're doing theirs, for us, it's like early in the day, or so I was thinking about maybe doing a regular type of Ustream, a regular Ustream show, like maybe on the weekends, or maybe even during the week. Who knows? At I don't know, 7 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, our time, you know, California time. Maybe we'll even get some California girls. I think that would be cool. And then maybe I'll take requests, like of different things, like color. Maybe give people choices. I would say to the gals, you gals, if you're viewers, like what color do you want me to use? Or although I'm not great for custom stuff. I used to enjoy it, but not so much anymore. Doing custom work. No. So I think I've reached the point where I'm going to have to do some edging. And I'm not really sure. I think I'll use the... Oh, there seems to be something missing from this section. I think it's some brown. I need some brown there. Some brown here. I'm just going to go through and just take a closer look. From a distance, it seems okay. I seem happy with it from a distance. This might irritate me. I think I'm pretty happy with it. Okay, so I don't know if I'll edge it with my finger or if I'll just use the sponge. I was thinking about using ink, but then I want it to look a little bit more rustic. And the ink, I find, leaves such a definite edge. I guess I'll just continue to use the sponge, seeing as that's what I'm already doing. Well, maybe I'll... Oh, that's the book. Hopefully this is visible. No. I'm just kind of doing the sponging thing the same way I would with ink, but with paint. With the paint that was left over on my palette. And I think in the end I might go over it with ink as well. Like I'm probably going to use brown stays on ink after it dries a bit. Wow, I've been on for an hour. Doesn't feel like it. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this drying for a moment. Let's take a look in here and see how that looks. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it drying for a moment. And I do still have a tea bag in the kitchen that's probably gone cold. And I don't have this in the middle of the book, and I just bent the page. Let's see where the middle is. Oops, don't want to. There's the middle. Okay. So I'm going to let it dry a little bit and go grab my tea. Okay, that is actually irritating me. I have to change that. Tone it down a bit somehow. There ended up being some black down in this corner because I was doing something on top of the journal without thinking about the possibility of wrecking anything. But that's okay. Okay, so I'm just going to go grab my tea. And I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So sorry about that, but the dog's now home from visiting Grandma. So I had to let him in and get him situated. Alright, so yeah, I'm really happy with this. I think that it's dry enough now where I could ink the edges. And I'm going to use Stays On Timber Brown. And that truck is Tom leaving. I don't know if you can hear that. It's pretty loud. He's going to get fish and chips for dinner, which means I'm breaking my eating good and healthy. This is Sunday, so I ease up on myself on Sundays. The rest of the week I eat salad, fruit salad, lots of fresh fruit and vegetables, brown rice, wild rice. Let me see what else. Lots of fruit, like I said. For breakfast I have yogurt and fresh fruit. Sometimes I have oatmeal because there's less calories in that. I still have to have my Cheerios every now and then, but there's less calories in the oatmeal and it fills me up more than the Cheerios. Although Cheerios are good for you, but there is actually more calories. Yes, I break all the rules of how you're supposed to use your ink pads. I figure I pay for them. It's my business how I use them. Because there's ink pad police. People that try to tell you how to use your ink pads. I figured it's your stuff, you buy it, use it however you want. As long as you're not using it in a dangerous way, right? Which, listen to me, I have my fingers in paint all the time. Except for, you know, the cadmiums. I don't buy any. Oops, my head was in the way that whole time. You got to see all my gray hair. I don't buy any of the cadmium paints. I was going to start to, but I think I better start wearing gloves. I mean, I cannot stop putting my fingers in paint, so I better protect my skin because the absorption into your skin is not good. So I think that's dark enough around the edges. Well, let's see what happens. We blend it a little bit better. What happens? It's just to kind of make the internal colors pop anyways, so. And this, what am I going to do with this little part that's showing? And then this, I wonder what would happen if I ink that. Or am I going to just wreck things? Just try and make it look like it's part of the thing. I don't know how other people, I wonder if I'm going to check on YouTube and see how other people have finished off their journals. Because this is a challenge. For me, anyways. Maybe other people don't have a problem with it, but I do. And I didn't want to take it off because, you know, your journal gets full of, all the pages get full of paint. And then it gets really thick, and then it doesn't close properly. And when you go to put it on the shelf, it might get stuck in another book, and then you're pulling pages back. So it's probably better to keep the elastic there to keep it closed. Now, I haven't thought of a title, so I don't know if I'm going to put a title on yet. I think, obviously, because we've already gone past an hour and 13 minutes. I don't know if Maureen is back yet. Now, I was thinking about using some, no, but then that'll create dimension. I was thinking about putting some grunge board letters on here, but I don't really know if I want. You know, I might come up with some sort of a saying that I like. And type it out on really light craft colored paper, and then gel medium it down, and then sort of paint the edges to make it blend a little bit better. So I keep beside me at all times in my studio here a quote book. That seems to be caught up in other things. So, who knows? Maybe I'll do that one. The freest person in the world is one with an open heart, a broken spirit, and a new direction in which to travel. That's kind of cool. Or a lyric out of Jan Arden's song like this: feet on ground, heart in hand, facing forward, be yourself. Or she found truth in the unexpected. Or just because it's not what you were expecting doesn't mean it's not everything you've been waiting for. Kind of like that one. Or know who you are, know what you want, be brave. That's kind of a cool one too. Or be willing to surrender who you are for what you could become. That could be a good reminder to me. I think maybe I'll do that one. But I think I'll do that off camera, because I know this has been a long time with lots of breaks of me wandering here and wandering there, so it kind of blends it a bit better too. And then obviously what I'm going to do afterwards, after I leave you guys, is I'm going to put a layer of gel medium on this in order to protect it. Oh, it feels pretty good. It does actually feel pretty darn good. But to remove some of the stickiness, so that when I'm shoving it in the bookcase, it's not sticking up against things and things aren't getting stuck to it. So I'll probably put a layer of, if I can find it again, here it is, gel medium, which I always put in smaller containers. And I will do that after I leave you ladies. So anyways, I hope that this was at least somewhat entertaining or informational, or maybe next time I come on, I will do an intuitive canvas. A little bit bigger than this. Maybe this size. Does that still stay in camera? Yeah, maybe this size. I'll do an intuitive canvas. Maybe I'll do it this way so you can see it will still be visible. So I think maybe that's what I'll do next time. And maybe I'll do that sometime this week in the evening, like around after dinner, like 7 o'clock. And I'm not sure what my appointments look like, but I'll take a look. And then I'll post a link on my Facebook to let you know. So, pull up Pamela Porter. Okay, so should I show you close up? I guess I should show you a little bit closer up what this turns out, how this turned out. Ugh. I wish I had a bigger, like, you could see bigger items. Maybe this, if I turn the light away. How's that? If I turn the light away. Does that help? You can see the color a bit better. See the pink and the yellow? Or does that not help? There, I don't know. Yeah, there we go. Seems a little truer to life. And then I'm going to put this saying in here, underneath here, so that when it's closed, it will be visible right here. And I think that would make me happy. I'm going to blend this a little bit. Like when you were gone, Maureen said I was going to put some gel, cover it with gel medium to help protect it. Okay, so that's it. That's how you do. This is one way to cover your creative journal so that it looks all pretty and does your still have to figure out how to do the inside and the envelope, but anyways, okay, so Take care, and we'll see you next time. Maybe sometime this week. Okay, bye-bye.